Let's get to the logistics, though. Let's get to the logistics. We know that black women are earning college degrees faster than anybody else. Many of us are doing like we're doing, Iyanla. We're getting those terminal degrees, those JDs, MD, PhDs. We also are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, along with Latina women in America. Pew Research said that women are now out-earning men.
Yes.
In 22 of the largest cities in America, including where I live, New York, DC, LA, you name it. When we talk, and I know that you've said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man, so I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself. My son got his first job when he was 9. Okay? Because you're a black man, you will know how to take care of yourself. But I think the way we measure it, it's just obsolete.
Welcome back to Unbiased and Unbossed. I'm back here today with the average at bus controversy that's happening within the black community. Specifically, black men are going against black women for defending Eboni K. Williams against Iyanla Vanzant. There were a multitude of black women that jumped on TikTok and defended Eboni and basically said, hey, we're tired of Struggle Love. I put together a compilation of those videos. I wanted to show those videos to my audience. So here they go.
Why are black women constantly being told we need to lower our standards to find a partner? No, there's nothing wrong with blue-collar jobs such as a bus driver. But Eboni K. Williams is an accomplished attorney. Why shouldn't she find a partner who's her equal? I rarely see anyone telling the white and Asian girls that their standards are too high to find a man, but yet black women are expected to accept struggle love and be ready to build with their partners. No, you shouldn't only focus on money, and character absolutely matters. But quiet as it's kept, the men with the least money are some of the meanest ones you'll find. In 2023, there are so many black women who are highly educated and come with their own bag. So they deserve to find good men who will love them well and be able to financially bring something to the table.
Owns it. If he owns the bus.
You know, I really like Iyanla, but I have to wholly disagree with her take on this one. This woman is a high-powered attorney with a net worth over $3 million. And even though there's nothing wrong with dating a bus driver, if her standard is to not date a bus driver, why is she being shamed for that? She goes on to say how she believes in black excellence, and I agree with her. Stop trying to humble people to settle for mediocrity. Instead,
would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns
No.
it. If he owns the bus.
So I keep seeing this clip, and I have a bone to pick with Iyanla. What I'm noticing just in the world in general, and as I'm coming into womanhood, the world is not ready for Black women with standards and preferences. Everybody wants us to take what we're given and be grateful and smile and giddy. And that's just not the case. At no point in time did Eboni job shame. At no point in time did she put this imaginary person down. But what was pivotal for me is that an older Black woman is telling a younger Black woman to basically take what she's given. And her having a standard is the problem. And what a lot of people don't even realize, especially older Black women, is that we learned from y'all's mistakes. We don't want the men that y'all have. We don't want the treatment that y'all got. And instead of supporting us in that fight, you're resentful because that's what you chose not to do.
A PSA to successful Black women or Black women that are on their way to success: you do not owe anybody dialogue. Again, you do not owe anybody dialogue. At this point, we have seen the discussion that happened between Iyanla and Eboni K. Williams about the bus driver. I'm not here to talk about that. I just feel like in a culture of podcasting, femininity, leveling up, we've kind of felt like we have to divulge our standards, and you do not. You can keep your leveling up, dating up, marrying up in private, not in hiding, but in private. Pick some people that you trust, that you know that love you and have your best interests at heart, and you can share with them. But to everybody else, it's up to your discretion, but you do not owe anybody conversation at all. And I really want for us to get past this point where we're constantly in this cycle where we're debating people over things that are not a non-negotiable. Your boundaries are your business. Point blank in the period.
Eboni K. Williams recently said that she will not date a bus driver. She will only date the man if he owns the bus. And some of y'all are acting like she said the most horrendous thing. And I say this: I'm not going to agree or disagree with what she said. I do think that her response could have been more tactful. However, I want to point out the comparison, the double standard. Men get on the internet every single day and dog Black women. Men have, specifically Black men, have no issue saying why they don't want to date a Black woman, why they don't want to date. Men in general will say, I don't want to date a woman with this body type. I don't want to date a woman with that body type. You know, she did that, she did that. We all, regardless of race or ethnicity, we all have experienced a man tell either us why we're not their preference, or hear another man talk about how another woman isn't their preference. But as soon as a Black woman, regardless if she's right or wrong, says what her preference is, and because it offended so many Black men specifically, everyone is ganging up on her. Again, I'm not saying she's right or she's wrong. My thing is that I wish some of these Black men who have the smoke for Eboni Williams have the same smoke for the men who continuously talk negatively about their so-called preference in relation to Black women. All I'm saying is just have that same energy, because it's not the same energy right now, and that's what I don't like. You're free to have your opinion, but if we want to talk about educating people on their preference and how it's wrong, next time you hear your friend talk about, you know, a Black woman or who, whatever the ethnicity is, whether it's even like her weight, the way she looks, and talking about it, especially in a demeaning manner, check them. Have the same energy. That's all I'm going to say. Have the same energy.
Would you date
If he owns the bus. If he owns it.
What is y'all's obsession with humbling Black women? If you ask me, that question was loaded and it was aimed to assess something else rather than just assessing if she would date a bus driver, but I ain't gonna even get into that because I ain't even comfortable talking about it on my platform. What's so wrong with rich women or women who are already established wanting to be met where they are in life. It's literally so tiresome, it's exhausting, and it's tone deaf for her to say something like the standard is off for who we are in society and who they are and where they are in society. A lot of us have aimed high and achieved high because we want to create a sense of rest and ease in our lives. And we've done just that, hence the soft black girl era. What is so wrong with wanting a man that matches that and who can meet us equally, or at least somewhat equally, to protect what we've built and what we have established thus far? And even her referring to her standards or her thought process as obsolete is tone deaf, because women, especially black women, are overachieving across the board in business, education, healing, and in health. And instead of just calling on men to maybe raise the bar a little bit more, in so many words we basically tell women or rich women to humble themselves, it don't sit right with me. And if you truly ask me, black women are embarking on a new and groundbreaking sense of life. We are truly standing in our power and redefining what it means to be a powerful woman. And this is not to put down other races of women. I'm just speaking on the black experience. We are no longer operating out of desperation or a scarcity mindset. Number one, because we have become self-sufficient, and we no longer fear being shamed or talked about because we're not married and have children by a certain time. To me, black women are chasing peace and protection, and a lot of us have watched our mothers and our grandmothers be the head of the household or the breadwinners, and we're just not choosing that for ourselves for the sake of tradition or just saying that we are married so people won't assume that it's something wrong with us. I'm not marrying Henry or Willie Earl just for the sake of getting married. Like, it's out of here, Anita.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun, and Iyanla Vanzant asked Eboni K. Williams, would she date a bus driver? And Eboni K. Williams said if he owned the bus. Now, Iyanla had gone into pretty much like, well, that's where you're wrong or misled, because if he enjoyed driving the bus and if he was good to his mama, then she would date a bus driver. I understand that. You need to be a good person and be good at what you do. But I also understand Eboni also. If he owns the bus, because where I am in my life may not be bus driver status. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she was saying, Iyanla was like, you know, you should just settle. If you want a man, this is what you should do. If he does that, if he treats you well. Well, he can treat me well and be the owner of the bus company too. Tell me what y'all.
The ears are shaking, but they weren't shaking hard enough, because there are articles out saying that Eboni K. Williams said that she would not date a bus driver, when that's not true. She had a conversation with Iyanla Vanzant, and she said that she would date a bus driver if he owned the bus. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's talk about it. Eboni K. Williams is an attorney, an author, and literally one of my faves. Iyanla Vanzant is the Maya Angelou and literally the therapist of our generation. I love both of these women equally. I'm not choosing a side, but there is a bigger conversation to unpack. So I literally waited to do this video when I heard Eboni K. Williams' podcast, Holding Court, that I love so much. Now, this is a picture of the podcast, but let me go to the point. So Iyanla and her had a conversation about dating, the relationships between black people in, the dynamics of men and women or other. And she basically asked Eboni K. Williams, who is a 39-year-old, very successful Harlem penthouse owning woman, would she date a bus driver? In turn, Eboni said if he owned the bus. Iyanla went on to say how that's not, necessarily right, and how she should rechange her thinking. But I was like, I don't think I like that. Now, a lot of people attacked Eboni K. Williams, but when I listened to her podcast today, see, this is why I knew to hear from her first. She said all the things I needed her to say. Y'all totally missed the point. What Eboni K. Williams was trying to get at was giving black people a sense of ownership. If you are the baker, the candlestick maker, the shoemaker, you should aspire for ownership as a black person in America. She's trying to influence us to get our piece of a pie and quit waiting on our 40 acres and a mule and just buy that for yourself. And if you are the owner, you could do that. Now, this is a 39-year-old woman. So she is not going to be in a place where she's ready to do the grind with you. This lady ain't 24, okay? Now, this is a baddie. Although an educated baddie, a baddie nonetheless. And they tried to basically come at her comments and call her everything but a child of God. And I'm here to say today that y'all are not pulling no wool over my eyes. At the bottom of all of that is you're saying black women deserve less. Black women deserve less. How dare we say, actually, I would like the owner. I'm a high-powered attorney. I'm literally, this is her at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, by the way. I'm literally very successful in not a play internet way. I'm successful in a real way. But as a black woman, I should accept crumbs. Even if you are high-powered in your career, you are a good cook, you're everything they say a perfect woman is supposed to be, because you're a black woman, because you're a black person, you should be able to just pick the lesser of that. And I'm here to let y'all know those days are over. Black women are demanding better in their dating situations, and there's nothing wrong with it.
You, would you date?
If he owns the bus. If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Baby, she didn't crack a smile. She was like, no. Do he own the bus company? You can't expect someone who, a watermelon to date a lemon. She's a millionaire. She ain't gonna date a dollar man. That's fine, if that's her standards. But let me explain some things about some bus drivers now. Peter Pan, Greyhound, they ain't say what kind. All inner city bus drivers, New Jersey, New York, Dallas, DC, Maryland, with all that overtime, without overtime, they making six figures and some. Trust me, I know. And ain't nothing wrong with wanting what you want. And that's what I hate about social media. You try to dry wash somebody. If she don't want a regular Joe Blow, like this one comic, she said, I never date a regular Joe Blow. I've always had a baller. Then that's fine. Let us keep these regular blue collar men, because I got one and he treat me like a queen. And I'm not saying that you got high maintenance men that are all trash, but I've had one and he was a drunk, okay, and he was filthy and his sex was terrible. But I'm just saying, if the damn story was turned the other way, there's a lot of men that don't like regular women. So I mean, there you go. But these men do have a job. Did we forget that he had an occupation that was a bus driver? But what about love, though? What about someone that got your back or wiping your tears when you crying? What about somebody that got your back when you just down and out because something didn't go your way? I understand, baby, money don't buy everything. I don't give a goddamn. You got $1 billion in the bank. Rihanna said the best thing that ever happened to her was a baby. And that's a life. Okay? I'm just saying, you guys are so superficial on social media that you think everybody think like that. I feel sorry for a lot of you women that your blessings gone right out the window. You don't know what this man owned. You don't know what this person had, but we can build together. But I will tell you this now. I'm going to slow your ass down. There's a whole lot of high maintenance bitch with letters behind their name, and they got a whole lot of coins, but go right to the prison taking care of Smokey and Pookie and Rookie. Right at the prison, honey, all day long. This dude ain't got a pot to piss in the jail cell. She going up there to visit him. But this quick little story, I was working for a bunch of surgeons, and this surgeon went into, CVS to get his medication. And he liked it, the cashier. And he came to work a few days later and said he's going on dates. We were all cool. Next thing, that date turned into 6 months. Next thing I know, he was getting engaged. Next thing I know, I was at a wedding for surgeons. Then I got to know his wife, and she was like, you so cool. I'm like, so you a doctor too? She said, no, I was a cashier at CVS. I said, ain't that some shit? But she was a regular. That's who he wanted. Now she owned the damn surgery practice. Y'all throwing y'all damn blessings away.
That's a no for me, and I'm gonna tell you why. I've never dated a bus driver per se, but I have had relationships with men who did not earn even half of what I earned. And there's places I want to go, experiences I want to have, meals that I want to share that they cannot afford. And so what I found myself doing was I'm always reaching in my pocket to cover everything so that you can share these experiences with me, right? And when we talk about building, you don't even have a foundation. And my house is already done, right? So it's a problem for me. At this point in my life, I value generosity, right? And that can come in many forms. But if you can't even cover the bill, if you ain't got me on the rent, no, I can't date the bus driver because I'm not where you are in life. And that's okay.
I'm sure by now most of you have seen the video of Eboni K. Williams telling Iyanla Vanzant that she would never date a bus driver. In case you didn't know, Eboni K. Williams is a lawyer, television host, and has appeared on The Real Housewives, so the woman is definitely making bank. And the internet saw this as an opportunity to not only hate and shame her, but black women in general. This is a typical example of misogynoir. Other races, other societies in the world are socialized to seek men who are providers or at least are within their same income level. But when black women, particularly black American women, do this, suddenly the internet sets them on fire. Black women, especially today, they have to seek partners that either are on their income level or above. This is because throughout in America, black families have been largely matriarchal. Because of white supremacy, black men have never had the type of access to patriarchy the way white men have. So even if they have a job, they're not making enough to be the sole provider for their family and the extended family. Add that with mass incarceration, black men, even those who were raised from a high-income household, are still more likely to end up in jail than white men who came from low-income households. Add that to the gaps in education between black men and black women. Women are now the most educated demographic in the United States, whereas black men are still lagging behind. Majority of black women are just not afforded the type of style that you don't work or you have to wait for a man to support you, you know? You need both incomes for a household, you know, to even barely make it. And also, when you're a black woman, you're not just supporting your own household, it's the extended family and the community. Grandma gets sick, that's on you. Cousin goes to jail, that's on you. Husband loses a job, that's on you. Community needs donation, that's on the black woman. We black women don't even have the privilege of being a gold digger. We're literally seeking somebody to ease that burden. It's literally the bare minimum. Because we still live in a patriarchy, yes, women have made advances in education and work, but men are still lagging behind. Instead of catching up, they're trying to beat us back into that position. So if you're a black woman making a lot of money and you marry somebody who, you know, makes a lot less, you're going to have to sort of little yourself to appease their ego so they don't feel bad. And that's another way just to belittle black women. So the black women seeking higher earning men or men at all is getting lower because black women, we are not doing relationships or getting married. We're trying to travel and better ourselves. Before you come for me or Eboni K. Williams or any other black woman, sit down, ask yourself, would I ever talk to a white woman or a woman of any other race this way? If the answer is no, leave us alone.
Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus,
see, that's a problem. That's a problem.
So the clip that you just watched was a video of Iyanla asking this woman, she's super successful. She owns so many business. I'm pretty sure she's a lawyer as well. Super successful, like something I want to be. But anyways, she asked her if she would date a bus driver, which was so random because it's like she has, you know, she established so much, and the fact that you just asked her like, oh, would you date someone lower than you? It's because, you know, she's an overachiever. Why would she want to date lower? And people are dragging her saying, like, I don't know, Iyanla was kind of, I don't really like her, to be honest. She just has that like old school, you know, that grandma mindset. You know, just has that old school mindset that just doesn't work today and does not fit, you know, fit everyone's standard. Like, you know, women are waking up and knowing their worth. And
you want some gum? Y'all need some lip gloss? Y'all mouth getting dry talking about the same thing. Cause mine is.
Initially, I grew tired of this debate because black people have a tendency of just arguing without there being some type of resolution in the end. But then I remembered that over the pandemic, Kevin Samuels' claim to fame was the average at best phrase in which he repeatedly devalued, degraded, and humiliated black women.
I really just wanted some advice. I love your stuff.
I'm giving you advice, but you're not taking it. The advice is, ma'am, you're average looking at best.
Kevin Samuels made an entire career off of humiliating, devaluing, and comparing black women to white women, in which he repeatedly spoke of our shortcomings compared to white women. Nobody complained, specifically black men. Black men overall loved Kevin Samuels. They loved him so much that even in his death, they have continued on with posting his videos and calling him the Godfather. Now that you have a black woman saying that, hey, I couldn't date a bus driver unless he owned the bus because I need someone who's equally yoked. Black women are being called white supremacists, and Eboni K. Williams is specifically being called out for things that she didn't even say. It is very clear that black men do not want to see black women set standards, expectations, and boundaries, and it hurts their feelings. But guess what? Oh well. If you can dish it, then you better be able to take it. Get in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about this video. Thanks for watching.